Hi everybody, Pastor Busher here, and I just wanted to get a video out to explain what you might expect when we get back to church this Sunday, which is really exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing many of you. And wanted to say at the outset, if you're certainly not comfortable with coming to church this first couple of weeks, that is perfectly fine. And for those of you who are ready to come, I'll walk you through what you can expect. And the first one is, we're starting out here, is that we're asking everyone to use this entrance to come into church. And there should be an elder or an usher here waiting to hold the door open, and we'll go inside in just a minute. If these stairs out here are too difficult, you are free to use the stairs around here by the flagpole, and you can go in that way, but we're asking most everyone to come in this way. So if you'll follow me in, we'll do that next. All right, so once you're inside the doors, you'll come in, and if you've got your own mask that you have at home, we're asking you to please wear that. And if you don't have a mask, we do have a couple here that'll be on the table. But the first thing that'll happen when you come in is one of the ushers or elders will be here with hand sanitizer, and either you'll get some of your own or they can spray your hands for you, and so you'll be able to basically be hands free as we come in. And you're able to get a mask, like I said, if you need one, and hopefully we'll be able to keep our distance as well. If several people are coming in at the same time, try and take turns like that, and trying to limit close contact with just the people that are in your own household. So we're not asking you to wear a mask the entire service, but at least from when you enter or until you get seated in a pew. And so after you're done here, we'll go right into church, and I'll show you what the inside of the sanctuary looks like. A couple other thoughts to keep in mind as we gather together. As I mentioned, we're still going to have our worship services online for folks who aren't comfortable coming back right away. And something else would be, if you are sick and not feeling well, that we would ask you to stay home and worship with us online instead of coming to church for that particular week. We're not going to be taking temperatures or anything like that, or asking questions as people come in, but just trusting that if you are sick, you'll stay at home. But if not, then you're able to come and worship with us. A couple of things that we won't be doing like normal. We won't have the elevator available for the time being. We're not going to do coffee or snacks or anything like that right away. We're not going to have Bible class this first Sunday. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that, maybe online still, or wait till we are able to gather together a little more before doing that, since it would be hard for folks to watch Bible class at home and then get here for church on time. We're also trying to limit the amount of time that we're here gathered together. So the service itself might be a little bit shorter, but we're also asking you to probably not arrive earlier than 10, maybe 15 minutes. That'll let us get things set up, and that'll also limit the time that we're actually together in one room. So hopefully that won't be a rush of everyone arriving at the same time, but also balance that people won't be in here a lot longer than we have to be in one enclosed indoor space. All right, so once we're inside the sanctuary, this is how we'll try and do our seating. To have the first folks that arrive be the ones that come up and sit towards the front, and that's no reason to come at the very last minute, but you will be happy to know the front pews have been crossed off, so no one is allowed to sit there. The downside is the back pews have also been crossed off, and so I'm sorry if your favorite pew is blocked off. I know you'll be flexible and we can do that together. So one of the pews that doesn't have a mark on it, you're able to come down and sit in the forwardmost pew. If there's just one or two of you in your household, you might be able to go all the way to the end, and another small household could sit on this side, or if your family is a little bit bigger, then you'll just have a whole pew to yourselves. And then we'll fill towards the back. That way people aren't crisscrossing and overlapping too much. And then at the end of the service, we'll have the people in the back be ushered out first, and they'll exit in the door behind me, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So while we're in church, like I said, once you're seated, I think you should be able to take your mask off. We are going to limit the responsive readings from everyone, limit the singing as well. I think what we'll probably do at the beginning is either have a soloist singing for us, or maybe some pre-recorded singing like we've had before in our online only services. And then as we continue and progress on, hopefully we can include more of those elements again as we're used to. So let's take a look over here next. All right, as you notice over here, we're asking folks not to sit in the wing for the first few weeks at least. The bathrooms will be accessible, but I guess we're asking to limit your use of them to only if you need to, then we can eliminate some traffic that way in close quarters. There is a little bit of access there again if you need to use those stairs. That way it's kind of blocked off to limit the space that we're using to as little as necessary. That just helps us to be able to keep things clean, so the cleaning process doesn't take as long. Also, during our service, we'll not be using bulletins for the first few weeks at least, and hopefully if the technology cooperates, we'll have some things on the screen that you'll be able to follow along. If you're still worshiping from home, you could download the bulletin like we've been doing. You could even, if you want, have a phone or a tablet, you could download the bulletin and have your own device in church, but no texting unless it's about church. And then we'll show you how to exit out these back main doors here. Okay, so here we are at the exit, and before we leave, wanted to mention there's nothing in the pews. We're not really supposed to share stuff, so the hymnals and things are out. Also the attendance pads, and we basically have a printout here, an attendance sheet that the ushers will go through and do their best to take their attendance during the service. And then as we come out on the exits, I'll show you what's available here. So as we leave, we're asking everyone to use this door, and again, someone will be holding it open. There's a offering plate here where you can leave your offering if you've brought it before you go. There's a garbage can here that you can use for your face mask or something like that. And then once you do leave, one of the guidelines is basically to limit the conversations to outside is better. And so if you do want to catch up with folks, maybe you could do that outside and spread out a little bit more, and instead of inside the church. So certainly want you guys to feel welcome as you come back to church. I know it's going to be strange not to do things as usual, sing the hymns and all of that, but hopefully it'll just be glad to be in the house of the Lord again, and I think it'll be good to see everyone as well. One last thing, we mentioned that this first Sunday we won't have communion at first. We're just trying to figure things out at first, and then next Sunday, June 21st, we'll have communion, and hopefully we'll be able to explain how that'll all work before that time. So thank you very much for watching the video. Looking forward to seeing many of you again, and God's blessings on your day.